Female husbandry is one of the oldest queer practices in Africa, and it's found in over 40 different African cultures, both ancient and contemporary. But I bet you didn't know that because you're lost in the sauce of homophobia. What if I told you that long before Europeans set foot in African soil, same gender loving people and the diversity of same gender loving people was interwoven into the fabric of the entire continent? From the ancient tombs of Egypt, where two male manicures were buried nose to nose, the most intimate embrace in Egyptian art, to the warrior husbands of the Azande in Central Africa. Education is elevation, and one of the most oldest spread practices was women-to-women marriage, also known as female husbandry. Before I go any further, I want to apologize for any butchering of enunciations. From the Nuer of South Sudan to the Igbo of Nigeria and the Kuri of Tanzania, a wealthy, powerful woman could marry other women. She became the legal husband. She paid the bride wealth. She controlled the lineage and property. Her wives could bear children by chosen male consorts, but the marriage itself was a recognized and often intimate bond. It wasn't nothing that was done in secrecy. There was an entire institution that acknowledged the legitimacy of what was going on. I'll give you a specific example. Queen Njinga, from 1583 to 1863, she was a ruler of present-day Angola. This woman was a powerful example who refused to take on the European gender norms and gender roles and was defined in many different ways. She dressed as a king, not as a queen, meaning that she didn't care about those type of gender roles that everybody believed in. She led the armies in person and took women as wives. Some sources even said that she had some male concubines. This queen used woman-to-woman marriage to strategically consolidate power. But she also lived in open ways that defined the Portuguese colonial expectations because she didn't give a damn about what they imposed on her body. The Portuguese was already horrified by her military resistance, by her military genius, but they were equally disturbed by her gender and her sexual autonomy. Even in their writings, they framed her as being unnatural. That's a label that served to justify their civilizing mission because we got to make sure that these old crazy people are not doing gender the wrong way, are not engaging in sexual autonomy the wrong way. Pre-colonial Africa, meaning when the Europeans still believed the world was flat, separated social role from biological sex. Woman-to-woman marriage, even from Angola all the way to Uganda, all showed that the gender was performative and situational, not the way we understand it as being static these days. Colonialism did not simply introduce homophobia, though that is the truth. It literally became the justification for you to try to alienate people in your own community. Through colonization of the continent and enslaving the continent, they were able to impose three specific things that impact this topic I'm talking about right now. The binary gender system, the one that said that men are men and women are women and it's fixed at birth. The second is heterosexual marriage as the only legitimate framework where it ties sexuality to reproduction and property inheritance. This is a European legal sense. The third is criminalization of gender nonconformity. Once a female husband lost legal recognition, she became deviant and erased from history. Research over me search, and the result was not just an erasure of the same-sex desire, but the deconstruction, the destruction of the entire social logics where status, language, and power could flow through non-male, non-heterosexual channels, and we see that it was completely fucked off. Peep game. Woman-to-woman marriage was not a footnote. It was a mainstream ancient institution that colonialism deliberately dismantled by imposing these narrow European models of gender and family. And just for clarity, recognizing this, it's not about importing Western labels onto Africa or imposing them. It's about reclaiming a history that was more diverse than the European archive wants us to admit. Happy Pride and education is elevation.